your price point, you should never fall in love with your price point. Your price point, especially when you're new, is really going to be determined by what people want to spend on the product.
It doesn't really matter where you want to price your product. It's
about what people are going to pay.
People are going to pay for it.
If you could spend $1 and get $1 back for every dollar that you spend, there is no marketing budget.
Today's episode is sponsored by ChatDesk. Let's be real. The holiday season is approaching quickly, and we all know what that means. Inboxes flooded with customer emails and overwhelming social media activity. What if we told you that ChatDesk could supercharge your support team with superfans of your brand and instantly train them to perfectly respond with your brand's voice and policy from day one? No, you're not dreaming. With ChatDesk, machine learning and human support come together to transform your support tickets into satisfied customers. Leading companies such as Thinx and Shea Moisture use ChatDesk to increase their Facebook and Instagram ad conversion by up to 15%. With one click, ChatDesk connects with your existing help desk so you can have time for the rest of your to-do list and make Black Friday and Cyber Monday the best ever. For a limited time, you can get started with ChatDesk for free. Check it out at chatdesk.com. That's ChatDesk.com. Ever wonder how those e-commerce brands you admire do it? How they know just the right message to send to the right people at the right time? Guess what? It's not experience. They have the right data and the right tools. They have Klaviyo. Klaviyo's data-driven marketing automation platform is sophisticated enough to power those legendary campaigns from the brands you admire, but they made it simple, easy, and fast enough for anyone to use. Klaviyo helps brands easily create personalized multi-channel marketing campaigns using your most powerful asset, your customers' data. Klaviyo integrates with all leading e-commerce platforms, helping you use your customer data in real time to send more relevant emails and SMS automations. Plus, building a marketing campaign is drag and drop easy. You can get started with your first campaign in under an hour and easily build from there with Klaviyo's best performing templates. Klaviyo gives you all the power of an enterprise marketing automation platform and none of the complexity, so you can compete with the big guys. No wonder more than 65,000 brands can't get enough. To get started with a free trial of Klaviyo, visit klaviyo.com/uncensored. That's KLAVIYO.com/uncensored.
You're listening to E-Commerce Uncensored with Kevin Manel and Jason Caruso.
Hey everyone, and thank you for joining us on another episode of E-Commerce Uncensored. My name is Kevin Manel, and I'm here with
Jason Caruso for take 2.
You're starting over.
This is take 2.
And this episode, first, before we get started, I wanted to mention something that I forgot to also mention on our first take of this podcast is the new question and actions section of our website. And we have a few questions that are coming in. So our website at ecommerceuncensored.com has a new link at the top for question and answer. You guys can go in there, fill out a little form, submit your question that you'd like us to answer on the podcast. Coming up in 2022, we're going to try to do like a little short, little like snippet podcast that answer these questions. So head over there, you can submit a question and we'll do our best to make it a podcast and answer your question. So
right.
Today's podcast is a good lead up into it is what you said earlier, Jason, is that we don't always practice what we preach. And I think that's what we've experienced with these latest campaigns that we're running.
Yeah. But Kev, I was like we said in the first take that it's not always our it's not always under our control. Like we have partners, we have clients that we can't make all the decisions on our own. So, sometimes it's not as easy to practice what we preach as it sounds. But in this case, we have this company called the Journal of Wildlife Photography, and it is a very, very, very expensive digital magazine. And in the first year of that business, we went from $0 to $2 million. If you've been listening to us for any amount of time, you know that it's the first year we were a multi-million-dollar business. And, since then, some of the things that were working for us just kind of stopped working, right?
Yeah.
Like we were running like these offers and they were like killing it. And they just kind of stopped working. And I think I get a lot of emails from people who listen to this podcast. Like some people I get multiple emails from like often. Um, I think a lot of people get caught up like when something stops working, they kind of give up and they're like, they throw their hands up and like, oh my God, like what do I do now? But what we're going to talk about today is actually an evolution in our business because one thing that Kevin and I, we're always learning. And the nice thing about what we do, Kev, is like we have a lot of different experiences, right? We have our own businesses, we have client businesses, we have consulting business. We have the podcast. There's a lot of things that we are exposed to, which we can learn from. But one thing that we talk about religiously is how important it is to grow an email list.
I also
And
think that, like, before you go ahead, I think like a lot of people out there, and including us, they have this aspiration of having this thing or this brand that kind of, runs on autopilot, so to speak. That you have this offer that just continues to work, and we say how important the offer is, and once you find it, you can kind of scale up on it and keep doing it. But I think the truth of the matter is that that's kind of like, that's hard to find. That's rare. So you're always going to have to change and evolve and do new things, test new things. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
like you were leading into, like, one of the things that we've always done is the email capture. And it's been always such an important part of what we've done.
yeah, and there is capturing email. There's a lot of ways to do it, right? Like if you have a big brand where you're getting lots of organic traffic, you can have pop-ups on your website that give 10% off or 20% off for people's first order. I mean, that's a way to do it, right? But you need the traffic to do that. What we're talking about in this episode is how do you afford to get emails from paid traffic, right? Because that's completely different. And, when you're starting a new business, I would say, Kevin, probably 10 times out of 10, the first thing we do is go to email.
Yeah. And
right.
That's
email capture.
Yeah. Email capture, like finding ways to bring people in through paid traffic and have them give us their email. And for us, for our business, we've been able to collect email addresses at a reasonable cost. But our thought was always, it always took like 40 to 45 days for these people who came in to actually purchase something from us. So
you could go broke.
Even at the beginning, when we didn't know that, we're like, well, we can't do this forever. And it was always a thing that you and I had. We're like, well, I would always like go into Klaviyo and be like, well, these guys are worth this much now. Like, we need to just keep getting them. Be like, dude, we're not going to be able to support the ads if it's going to take this long to, well, now we can, but now we know about it, but you can't do it at the beginning. So that's why this process of collecting emails was like an evolution and always changed. We always needed to do new things because the price of emails started going up and we started getting less people. So it didn't really add up. So,
yeah. And the thing, we had this conversation yesterday with one of our partners. We are collecting email addresses for one of our businesses at like $9 a pop, which is very, very expensive, but the product is expensive. So, we don't really know what our KPI really is for that business yet. So we're just testing and we're just trying. So, but going back to our original premise with, being able to pay to collect email addresses, right? Because that's the secret. Russell Brunson talks a lot about this from ClickFunnels. He talks a lot about how if you could spend $1 and get $1 back for every dollar that you spend, there is no marketing budget, right? So as things start changing in your business and you have to get more creative about doing things, that's kind of where we are with our wildlife photography business. It's like we had this thing that was working really well and it kind of stopped working. So we shifted gears actually quite recently, Kev, right? Like we started, what we did was we were getting like hundreds or thousands of new email addresses every week or month or day or whatever the number is. And what we've done is, so let's say you get 1,000 people coming onto your email list. Every single one of those people have to go to a thank you page after they sign up, right, Kev?
Yeah. And like Jason was saying before you get into this, like we said, we had that 40-day window. So we could show that we were getting a 2x return on our money, like 45 days after they had signed up. But the secret is to like try to close up that window a little bit, make it closer in time so you're not waiting for that return. So you can really prove that process out and say like I'm paying this for the email, and then I'm paying this for, I'm getting that in return for that money.
Right. So we were getting email addresses or emails, and we looked at the lifetime value, and it looked like, and what we found was that it took about 40 days for people to buy. So like you said, you can go broke in those 40 days, depending on what you're spending and how new your business is and how much capital you have and all those other things. But closing that gap, like you said, is important. So we've we've we found that people weren't buying on Facebook from our ads as quickly as they used to. We don't know if that's a COVID thing. We don't really know why, but we do hear that people don't have money and they're losing their jobs and that kind of stuff. But we don't really quite know why they're not buying so much right from Facebook like they used to. So what we've decided to do is just collect email addresses and then try to sell them something. So recently, our magazine is $97 a year for a digital magazine. You get all the back issues over 4 years now, I think it is. You get some video trainings, you get some other things, but it's a $97 magazine. And what we decided to do was say, look, why don't we collect email addresses and try to get that money back like right away? So we did this $50 off the $97. So it came out to $47. And basically what we did was we put this offer on the thank you page of the
After they sign up. Yeah.
After they sign up for the to the list.
Yeah. And think about how important that page is, right? You've actually convinced somebody that you have a viable piece of information that they want to get from you. In this case, we have an ebook that we're giving away. That's how we get people over from our ad to a sign up page that has, some social proof on it and things like that people finally are convinced that they're going to give us their email address, which people really value. I mean, people hold tight onto their email address, especially nowadays when they're getting inundated with marketing communications all the time, from email and now SMS. So it's not an easy thing for someone to come out and be like, okay, I'm going to give you my name and email address, knowing that at this point, basically, they're going to get more emails from us. So they've committed at that point, and then you're taking their eyes over to a thank you page, and that, I feel like it's such an important. It's almost like free real estate, free attention that you're getting from them at that point.
Yeah, and I never, to be honest with you, this is something I learned from Russell Brunson, and I never thought about it before. All of those people, 1,000 people a day. At some point, we were spending money 1,000. We were getting 1,000 people a day would see that thank you page. And the thing about it is this business or this industry is mostly about psychology, right? It's the frame of mind people are in when they see your offer. And the interesting thing about having an offer on the thank you page is that people are actually waiting to see that their email went through properly and that they were going to get the thing that they want. So on our thank you page of this email capture campaign, it basically says, thank you for downloading the PDF, or what, and I have the name of the PDF. And then it says, this is a one-time offer. You will never see this again. Take $50 off. And then it has kind of like the sales page underneath it.
Yeah.
And
I think sometimes people too, I think to your point about people actually paying attention to that page, because a lot of times, and we've done it, sometimes as soon as they sign up, they'll get what they asked for. So they're almost assuming that they go from signing up to your email list to getting what they give their email address to right immediately.
Yeah. Sometimes people give them the download link on the thank you page. Right?
Which is something you could test. You could do that. Maybe that works better for you. Maybe people are more engaged at that point for the piece of, depends on really what it is, I guess, at that point.
Right. Yeah.
We like to send it to people via email.
Yeah. We like to send it to people, for a couple of reasons. We want their email address to be the right email address, to be a good email address. We don't want them to give us a spam email. So I'll say, where would you like us to send your free PDF? Yada, yada, yada. But this offer we did was $50 off, which is almost like 50% off. It's the same thing. Brought our journal from 97 to $47. And what we found, which is pretty interesting, is that people are actually taking us up on that offer, and our ads are basically free right now.
Yeah.
We are making more money from that offer than we are spending on the ads.
Today's episode is sponsored by ChatDesk. Let's be real. The holiday season is approaching quickly, and we all know what that means. Inboxes flooded with customer emails and overwhelming social media activity. What if we told you that ChatDesk could supercharge your support team with superfans of your brand and instantly train them to perfectly respond with your brand's voice and policy from day one? No, you're not dreaming. With ChatDesk, machine learning and human support come together to transform your support tickets into satisfied customers. Leading companies such as Thinx and Shea Moisture use ChatDesk to increase their Facebook and Instagram ad conversion by up to 15%. With one click, ChatDesk connects with your existing help desk so you can have time for the rest of your to-do list and make Black Friday and Cyber Monday the best ever. For a limited time, you can get started with ChatDesk for free. Check it out at chatdesk.com. That's ChatDesk.com. Ever wonder how those e-commerce brands you admire do it? How they know just the right message to send to the right people at the right time? Guess what? It's not experience. They have the right data and the right tools. They have Klaviyo. Klaviyo's data-driven marketing automation platform is sophisticated enough to power those legendary campaigns from the brands you admire, but they made it simple, easy, and fast enough for anyone to use. Klaviyo helps brands easily create personalized multi-channel marketing campaigns using your most powerful asset, your customers' data. Klaviyo integrates with all leading e-commerce platforms, helping you use your customer data in real time to send more relevant emails and SMS automations. Plus, building a marketing campaign is drag and drop easy. You can get started with your first campaign in under an hour and easily build from there with Klaviyo's best performing templates. Klaviyo gives you all the power of an enterprise marketing automation platform and none of the complexity, so you can compete with the big guys. No wonder more than 65,000 brands can't get enough. To get started with a free trial of Klaviyo, visit klaviyo.com/uncensored. That's KLAVIYO.com/uncensored. Yeah, and I think this is where you can come in and kind of really do some deep discounts and to test different things, because it's so important to like just have someone take out their credit, feel confident enough in you and trust you enough to take out their credit card and give you whatever it is, whatever the dollar amount is, doesn't really matter, whatever it is for them to commit to that.
Just taking out the card is a commitment.
Yeah. And it's important to understand too, at this point, like we have an idea of like, we're going to be able to sell them other things. We have some other products. And that was another thing when we first did this, Jason, is like why we didn't really do this that much is because we didn't have anything else to sell them. So like if we're giving this deep discount on the one product we have, how are we going to ever like really recoup enough and
right? You're basically
to make money from people?
Well, right. But it is a subscription. So you hope that the next year, but that's a long time to wait,
Right.
But now we have other things to sell them. Like we can sell them a lifetime subscription. We can sell them this new wildlife photography course that we have. So now we have other products. So we're not so reliant on that initial $97 investment into our brand like we were.
Yeah.
Right. We're just not, because now we have other things to sell. So this is actually working out exactly how we intended it to work out. We want to get people on our email list. Not everybody's going to buy, but we hope that enough people buy to pay for our ads. And that's what's happening. We're getting like a 2.8x return on some days. Some days it's a little higher, some days it's a little lower, but it's paying for our ads.
Yeah, I think people get hung up on the fact that they need to get, like they hold their product so tightly that they feel like they can't discount it that much. They need to get that initial, and they need to make that money on that product right away. And I think that's what's the most important thing. You got to understand that there is more to come after that person has committed to paying you that initial, like on that initial offer. And I think that's the lifetime value of a customer is so important. Understanding that, because you can get them to take out their card for $7 for whatever product you have that obviously ties into what you've got them in to your ecosystem to begin with. Get them to spend whatever it takes And even if you're break even point at that, you're not making any money in return from your Facebook ads. You're just breaking even. You know that next sale will come in a week or in a month or in 6 months or whatever.
Well, I mean, you can wait the 40 days once you're recouping your ad spend. It doesn't really matter. Even if it took them a year, you're still getting them on for free. And even if you get a 2.8x return, you're still making money.
Right.
I mean, it's not like, we're even making money. It's not like we're even breaking even. It's like at a 2.8x return, we're doubling, almost tripling our money.
Yeah, right. What took us so long to actually do this, Jason?
We had pushback, I think. I think there's pushback to bringing the journal to $47, but it's an interesting thing is like as the business grows and you get more employees and you get more your team grows, so to speak, and your expenses grow with that. Sometimes you have to just do what you have to do, so to speak.
Yeah, our employees aren't going to wait 40 days to get paid.
Yeah.
Right. So
Now,
we had to think of something.
Now, here's the thing about this offer is we talk a lot about creating irresistible offers, okay, that solve real problems. This offer would not work at $97. We've tried that.
Yeah.
It doesn't work at $97 because, first of all, people don't know who you are, and it's a lot of money to invest. $47, I think it's like one of those price points that, like, if it's not exactly what you thought it would be, it's not the end of the world. But it's a really good way, to get people to buy.
I think it tells you learn a lot about what your price point should be. And you said it before we got on. You're like, maybe it's just too expensive. Maybe this isn't where it needs to be. And maybe just selling directly off Facebook would work better just at this price point.
Well, think about one of our clients, right? We have been telling them since the minute we started working with them that the price point of their product needs to be about $299, right? It's an expensive product, so I get that their KPI needs to be higher than that. But we see this product flying off the shelves at the $299 price.
Yeah.
Right.
It doesn't really matter where you want to price your product. It's
about what people are going to pay.
People are going to pay for it.
Dude, I'm seeing it right now, man. Like if you look at the housing market, right? People got so crazy overpricing their houses that I get emails like, cause I get emails a lot about like how prices have decreased. Like, and they're not really decreasing. It's just that people are just not paying 500% more than they were before. So they have to kind of bring the prices down a little bit.
Right.
So, your price point, you should never fall in love with your price point. Your price point, especially when you're new, is really going to be determined by what people want to spend on the product. I mean, and we, I know a lot of people out there talk about how discounting is bad and it eats into margin and it does. I get that. But when you have a new product, you got to figure out what people want to pay for it. And discounting stuff is a really good way to see where you're supposed to be at. If you have $1,000 product and you can't sell it, but you find when you give a 50% off that people buy it at $500, okay, now you're getting a little closer. You can keep testing. Okay, let me try $600. Okay, we still have the same amount of sales. Okay, cool. 700. Sales are starting to slow down a bit. Okay, let's stay at $599. It's a really good way because, my stepfather told me this. He's a pretty smart guy. Not just the best entrepreneur that I know, but very smart guy. I told him like, oh man, I want to get into computers because I could charge $100 an hour. He's like, Jay, you could charge $1,000 an hour. I don't care. It doesn't mean people are going to pay for it.
Right.
So I always remembered that. Like, he's like, you could charge whatever you want. Like, just, you want to say you charge $1,000 an hour? That's more than I charge as a lawyer. He said, do it. Nobody's going to buy.
It makes me think of my, during COVID, this because you were at the office when I had them. I dug up my old baseball cards and I started going through them. And as I'm looking through them, I found like a Derek Jeter rookie card, right? And I'm like, I look it up online. I'm like, oh, it's worth this. I'm like, oh, I have this card. It's worth this much money. And I'm like, no, It's not. It's just a piece of paper until someone actually buys it from you or you're able to sell it.
Right.
Or my crypto investments that I started investing, like, oh, look at how much my crypto's worth. Be like, it's still not worth that until you actually take it out
Right.
and put it in your bank account.
Exactly. And you know, I you would think that business owners or entrepreneurs would understand this concept a little bit better, but it doesn't matter who it is, who we are, who we work with. Everybody falls in love with price.
Mhm.
And you know, I think that we are from sort of like the school of thought, like, look, like sell it for what people want to pay for it.
Mhm.
And you could figure that out. And it's clear that people who don't know the journal want to pay $47. They don't want to pay 97.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Keep learning.
keep
That's what
learning.
we keep doing.
Keep doing. So moral of that story, Kev, is that you could recoup, or you should try to recoup your cost for your ads as quickly as you can. And sometimes that's just a matter of playing with the numbers a little bit. And sometimes it's just a matter of, you know, trying to give someone such a good offer that they can't say no to. And that's kind of what's working for us.
Yeah. To just take advantage of the opportunity you have when you have that person's attention on your website. Do whatever.
One thing I will add is that where this is working is a very, very clear, defined person. Like, so it's a wildlife photographer. If you don't have the right person coming to that landing page, that's a whole nother problem. Like
Right.
our other business that we're working on right now with somebody else, we're still trying to figure out if the lead magnet that we're using is the right lead magnet. We don't quite know yet. We're testing it. So we've decided to spend $1,000 to test that. Right. So that's a whole nother thing. This particular product, we know who the people are. It's very, very easily defined. It's very well defined. So it's
a process.
It works.
Yeah. It's a process in the works.
Right.
Anyway, so we have Christmas. Want to say Merry Christmas to everybody out there.
Merry
this week.
Christmas to everyone. Yeah. A Happy New Year. Are we going to do another one next week, Kev?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to be together next week. So
I know. I'm just not going to have my mic.
If it doesn't work, I don't know. We'll try it. I mean, we're going to do probably a year recap. I hope talk about all the things we did in 2021 and all the things we learned. So make sure you subscribe to the podcast. Make sure you don't miss that one.
Maybe that one will be next week somehow.
Yeah.
We'll be sitting right next to each other. So
yeah, I don't know. I have a couple extra mics here that maybe we can, I don't know. We'll figure it out. If not, if we don't speak to you guys next week, have a great New Year as well. Anyway, thank you guys so much for listening. As always, you can check us out at ecommerceuncensored.com, and we'll talk to you guys real soon.
Later.
Today's episode is sponsored by ChatDesk. Are you struggling to respond to all your social media comments, DMs, and customer emails? Well, you're not alone. That's why ChatDesk came up with a solution to supercharge your support team instantly. With ChatDesk, machine learning and human support come together to transform your support tickets into satisfied customers. Leading brands such as Thinx and Shea Moisture lean on ChatDesk to increase revenue and customer satisfaction. Get started for free at chatdesk.com or click on the link in our show notes. Attention e-commerce founders, entrepreneurs, side hustlers, marketers, and growth hackers. If you're working around the clock to build your dream e-commerce business, you need an e-commerce marketing platform that works just as hard as you do. That means you need Klaviyo. With Klaviyo, you'll delight customers and drive revenue at the same time. With personalized email and SMS marketing campaigns, you can design and send in minutes. For more, visit klaviyo.com/uncensored. That's KLAVIYO.com/uncensored.